Emma Stone produced that movie, and she was saying, because Jesse wrote himself as the Kieran Culkin character originally, who's sort of like the wild card, self-destructive guy, and he was like, I'm going to play the character, and she was like, that's going to be so hard, like, to be playing this guy who's like super, you know, he's like a cannonball or like a bomb goes off in a room, he like walks in and is just like, it's going to be harder for you to direct and keep things on track if you're playing someone who is the exact opposite of that.
So interesting.
So it's weird. Yeah, it is weird, but like I also don't regret it at all, and I think that it's funny, and I think that, you know, I think that we did it like a good job under the circumstances. But yeah, I mean, going forward, I don't know if I would do it in that way.
Do you rely on each other for notes, or like how does one direct themselves?
Yeah, I mean, we like, because we wrote it together and like it had been our lives for so long and our shared sense of humor, like it was kind of like one mind. So it would just be like we'd see each other from across the room or something if like our characters were in the scene with the other characters and the scene was ending. Like I would just like look across and like we wouldn't even say anything. It would just be like both of us would just like nod at each other or whatever, like one little like no, and we would just know. But yeah, no, we definitely relied on each other, and I think it was also like
team.
Yeah, and it was also like, you know, for him especially too, Billy, my co-director, like I had obviously worked on a ton of sets and was lucky enough to I think just have the knowledge, well, just a little, not even knowledge, but just like I was more comfortable, I think, in the role that I was in. And with my co-director, with Billy, like he had come from film school and had been an actor, but the thing that was interesting was that it was like he was so like so incredibly detailed and so I guess what I'm trying to say is like in any time that I didn't know what to do, he would pick up the slack. And it was like this amazing thing because some of the stuff that I wouldn't think about would be because it would just kind of go over my head, because in a lot of ways this is his first thing and first movie, and I have the sort of luxury of like coming from all these other shows and being in this position where if this scene doesn't work as much, it's fine because I have like subconsciously I think like my brain is like it's fine because I have Stranger Things coming out or whatever. And then for him it's like, dude, this is my first movie. Like you have your career. Like we need to, like this scene needs to work. Like it needs to work. And I'm so happy I had that, because if I didn't, I think it would have been a little more like, I think it would have been fine, but I think it would have been like, I'm happy that I had that, because I don't think I would have been as I don't think the movie would have been as good.
It adds to the groundedness of the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Also enhances the why.
Yeah.
But a great team is that, like somebody picking up.
Yeah.
When you don't even know you're dropping the ball.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really special.
Yeah. I'm so lucky. Like we're both so lucky, I think, and I'm so lucky to have him, and yeah, it was great.
Once you accomplish a movie like that, does it make you view the movies like It or Ghostbusters differently because they're these big budget, big movie franchises?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just in the way of, yeah, you do take stuff for granted, like a lot, like especially, yeah, no, I mean, you know, we didn't make this movie for a lot of money, and we had 19 days to film it, so
that's wild.
Wow.
And yeah, like usually those like horror movies or whatever, if they're bigger budget, they film for 3 months or whatever it is, or at least get a month. So we didn't really have in a way, I'm actually glad it was so short, because we didn't have time to worry about anything. It was just like, go, like try to get everything done. But yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy to think about. Mostly just the things that I've been thinking about recently is just like, wow, there's a lot of money in movies. Like it used to be, It's crazy. Like in the way of like, and I know that sounds like ridiculous to say, but I more mean in context of like what the history, I guess, of like movie making was in like 70s and 80s, is like studios would take chances on like smaller filmmakers and they would make more movies for less money. And now it's like now studios basically are hiring directors that are established directors and less films and more money basically. And so then like it's harder for younger filmmakers, younger independent filmmakers that have like voices that should be heard and eventually like they will be, because there's great independent companies now that are putting out great movies. But it is just interesting of like, wow, that movie cost that much money, like, and then no one ever talked or saw it ever again. It's like, that's so wasteful.
I was
and
thinking about that
so
the other
horrible.
day.
Like, yeah, it's just like sometimes I'll see that. I'll see whatever on my phone or whatever it is. I'll like see news about it, and I'm just like, how do they keep doing? Like, this is crazy. And so it like, I don't know. It was one of those things like I just want to keep making. If I keep producing and directing, which I want to do, I just want to keep doing stuff that's like either independent, or if it is, with a studio, if I'm lucky enough to be working again and working as a director, having some like boundaries of like, because I don't know. I think that there's this weird thing where I think now movies, there's like less movies and more money. I don't know. It's this really odd thing, but I would love to keep making independent films because you get a little more control that way.
What is it like working with those studios? Really, like A24 and even the studio you work with?
Amazing. Yeah, they're like Neon. Neon is the company that's putting out our film, and they're like so great because they still have the model of like what Hollywood used to do, which is like they care about each release that they have, and they pay attention to those films, and they don't just like acquire and buy or make like millions of films a year and don't know what to do with them. They're like very much hands-on as like a company and care like very deeply about all their movies and care about like let first-time filmmakers obviously have a chance and all these things. And so I like we're so like unbelievably lucky like to have them. And like it says something that like, because they did Anora, which just won Best Picture.
Yeah.
And then they're releasing our slasher comedy movie. So it's like that just shows you like that they just want to make stuff that is interesting to them or thinks that audiences might like theatrically or whatever it is. And that's like what's the best part about movie making is just like wanting to just put out stuff because having faith that people will like it and go to the movies, where I think that with big studios, I think there's a lot more of like fear because of the risk that they're taking, like the risk in the way of like just because the budgets are so big.
Totally.
So they do less. Anyways, I'm talking in circles.
How does making music make you a better filmmaker, and then how does making movies make you a better musician? Do they overlap at all?
Maybe. Yeah. I think when I make music, it's this, like I said before, it's like this feeling that I don't get from other things. But then there's this other feeling that I'm not getting. And I'm like, what am I not getting? And then I go and I do a film or I act and I'm like, oh, there it is. And it's like this weird thing. I think it's like, I think I love working with people so much, and I love people, and I love like what originally got me into film and why I loved film growing up was because I would watch these like making of videos of my favorite movie, and it would just be for me at that time like watching videos of just like a director and all of his friends basically making a movie together and like being a team and having this shared goal of like making something great and bonding all while doing it at the same time was like so intoxicating for me as a kid, because all I wanted like like at that age, like I had a few friends, obviously was lucky enough, but like I think I really wanted to have like a community and really wanted to have like a core group of buddies. And when I would watch those videos, I'd be like, oh my God, they're getting paid to like, like not even hang out, but they're getting paid to like make these monster movies with like make like crazy makeup, and they're all friends. And it just was such an amazing looking thing. And so like that's what really like draws me to it. And sometimes like with music, again, it's a more solitary thing where like you obviously can work with a lot of different people and write with different people, and that's one thing. But as far as the way that I write music, sometimes I just do it a lot and get a little burnt out on it, and then go and I'll act, and then I'll do like, it's basically like the way that I can describe it and like how it feels in my head. It sounds so crazy. It's like it's all the same train station, but it's like there are just different tracks. It's like a train is just switching tracks. So it's just like I'll be on the music track and then I'll switch and I'll do acting for a bit, and I'll do, like it'll just. There's just something about it to me that's like how it.
How much of yourself though remains?
I visualize it.
But how much of yourself remains when you act?
Like a lot, I think, because I haven't, and I'd love to, and I've been, in the past I've played a few roles that I've where I've like played more characters that like are not like me at all, or they are, and sort of the more like. I'm conjuring up more of like the negative parts of myself or whatever it is, like playing a character that maybe like just has more range or whatever. And that's like really interesting to me to like, especially after the show, to be able to like play a role that, and I think a lot of people after working on a show for a long time as an actor want to do is show them as they are as an actor in a completely new, different role. That has nothing to do with, you know, the role that they played for years. So something that I think I'm really interested in for sure is playing characters that I think people wouldn't expect me to play or whatever, just because that's fun to do personally, and you're accessing different parts of yourself that you didn't know, and you're also like, it's also kind of fun and cool to show people like, yeah, this is like I can do, you know, other stuff too, or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, you know, we've talked to actors, and a common theme that we've picked up is like this idea that like people who get into something for a long time, they kind of pause themselves to take on something else. If that makes any sense, because like you're so engulfed
totally,
in like
totally
this other being and really a whole other fucking universe. Genuinely.
Yeah, I think like that's probably why it's so hard for like actors to like generally to just like stop, because it is like,
dude, it's scary to be with yourself.
Yes, 100%. That's why like I don't know, I like so many people are workaholics because of that, and like I identify with that of like, you know, just sitting with yourself and being at home. Like that's like, it is scary. It's like you don't, for whatever reason, that's just like a vulnerable place that you don't want to go to. And so if you're someone that feels like that and you have the opportunity to keep playing different people where they're like, it's like, imagine just like being like, I don't know, if there's an actor that is like feels really depressed being them or whatever, and then they get cast in some movie where they're playing like a really cool guy who like is just carefree, whatever. And it's like, yeah, of course he would choose that, or of course she would choose that, because, you know, you have this way of, like, you don't have to deal with yourself then. But then you're just putting it off. And that's why I think a lot of actors also, like, spin out and burn out, is because it's just, like, I mean, there's no, like, really safety net unless you have, like, a great support system for a lot of actors. But, yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to have a great family and friends.
And you've channeled all that emotion and you've given us an album.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like Idle Hands. Like you ended up making something.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it's sick.
Yeah.
Do you feel like like, I guess you won't know until the future, but do you feel like Mike is one of those roles that, like, no matter how much you accomplish, there's so many people that'll see you as Mike from Stranger Things the rest of your life?
And I was just talking to someone about this the other day where I was saying, like, I'm at 100, like, truly, I'm, like, at peace with, because, like, I wouldn't be sitting on this couch if it wasn't for the show. I wouldn't be, like, getting recognized if it wasn't for the show. Like, that is the first thing. And, like, obviously, I do understand, you know, once in a while, obviously, if you're an adult and you're living your life and you keep getting reminded of, like, stuff that you did when you were a kid, I get that. And sometimes I feel that way, but I'm mostly just, like, feel a bit, like, indebted. And I'm, like, I think that's a good thing that I'm, that
You're proud of it.
yeah, like I don't really see the problem with being that kid, because it's like, yeah, that's what got me the job I'm doing right now, you know, or whatever it is. It's like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. So I don't find it that, you know, that to be negative at all. Like, I think it's a really great thing, and I think also, like, so many people have, like, connected with the show and, like, bonded over the show, and, like, I think a lot of families love that show, and it's like, why should I be bummed about? I don't know. It's just, yeah.
The reason why you wanted to do this in the first place was to find community.
Yeah.
Is exactly what something you've helped create.
Yeah.
Is bread.
Yeah, totally.
Like, that has to be such a fulfilling feeling.
Definitely. I think, like, I think that is sort of, like, the pursuit, I guess, maybe of, like, what I'm trying to do is just, like, keep creating those, like, communities.
Do you ever get to take a second step back because you're so busy, but do you ever be like, wow, look at everything I've accomplished already, and I'm like, what, 21, 22 years old? You just go down the list and it's incredible.
Yeah, it is hard to it is, like, hard to think about, because it, you know, I feel like it's easy to, like, to spin out, like, in that way of, like, it's like you think about it and you're like, oh wow, like, that was the other day I was talking to my dad, and he was like, oh, it's gonna be, like, a busy year for you, and I was like, oh really? Like, I truly had no concept, because I just was I was just maybe focused on something else or whatever it was, and he was just like, no, you have this, and this, and this, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess I am busy. That's crazy. And I'm not even trying to say that in a way of, like, oh man, I did all this stuff, huh? It's more just like, I maybe that's just, like, my way of, like, protecting myself, is just being
Totally.
like, trying to just be like, all right, move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but it is like, yeah, you stay present and, like, it's
Yeah,
like
try to.
from
Yeah.
A to B to C.
Yeah.
But a part of, like, that protection, you do end up, like, missing a little bit of the journey along the way, or soaking it in.
Oh yeah, that's, like, dude, so many. I mean, especially, like, people that grew up on sets. I'm so, like, I'm so happy that I had my parents that were around all the time, and had, like, friends that I was, like, in the show with and all this stuff, and even then, like, there is stuff developmentally that you miss just by being out of school or out of whatever. So, you know, like, that's something that, like, I try to work on. I don't know how, just by, I guess, just experiencing life and trying to live as best as you can.
That, like, showing up's hard, and then being present's even harder. Mm-hmm. It's a challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't go away.
How do you think you're, like, a workaholic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I want to work more. Literally. And I
Yeah,
try to do
like,
it.
you crave it.
Yes. And, like, new ideas, and, like, I do it to kind of mask life, but, like, sometimes it is bad. But then
But
also,
sometimes it's great.
Yes, 100%.
No, I know. That's the hard part. It's just like, is this no? And you don't. Also, sometimes you don't know till, like, years or months later, where you're like, why did I do that?
But, like,
But you don't know when you're doing it. You're just like, I'm just gonna do this.
you have to do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is I'm also afraid, like, I've gotten to this place of, like, oh, I wonder if somebody else is going to take that idea, or if somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah, you want to jump on it, jump on the
Yes.
opportunity. Yeah, totally. That's, like, kind of the same thing with the movie, where I just was like, me and my partner were just like, well, if this doesn't get made, then, like, no one's gonna make it. Like, we gotta make it. Like, it just was this weird.
You should be so proud.
Thanks, man.
You really, I mean, but also to make something like that follows you through these really pivotal moments and years of your life. Like so much development happens between the ages of like when you write this thing,
Yeah,
to when you
totally.
even make it, and then to when you release it.
Totally.
Holy,
Yeah. It's weird.
you're
It's
like 3 different people during that time.
I know. Yeah, it's what makes sometimes you're just like that's what that's what I try to work on so that I can just be one. Like how to like because I have these 3 things going on. It is hard to be like. It's like having 3 different personas or something, and you're like, it's sometimes it can be hard to be like, okay, but who am I actually? Like that thing of.
Who are you actually? Are you ever like? Do you ever feel like your characters are bleeding into the lyrics you're writing, and you're like, wait, is this me or is this a character? That I'm working on a movie for right now.
I would say like sometimes it's a character, but not for like a movie I'm working on. It's more just like a character in the way of like
A character of yourself?
yeah, like a different character, like from the perspective of a different character that is writing the song that like maybe I didn't experience, but that this other character is like writing a story or something. But yeah, no, I mean it is hard. Sometimes it is hard because your life is like, especially when if you're a young actor or you're just in the performing arts generally and you're younger, it's this thing of there's all this stuff happening, and even just like high school theater. I mean, like I knew kids in my high school that would like throw up before, or like running or anything
That's
like that. Like
real.
just the pressure of performing is like super intense, I think, for like a lot of kids. And I think sometimes it maybe like blocks like some kind of developmental, the pressure can block some kind of developmental change or whatever it is.
Interesting.
But like, again, I do think like I have been very lucky to have the people in my life that I've had, that have really kept me on the straight and narrow.
Grounded. Can I be honest? Like, as one, that pressure, it gets like worse as you get older. But, like,
Great.
like
Awesome.
I don't know. It's more of like,
No, I know what you're saying.
You understand cause and effect differently, and like you can understand, like, like when you're young, there's like this, like you pursuing the movie. There's this naivete.
No, totally.
And this blind
It's
confidence.
better almost. It's like,
Oh fuck yeah.
yeah, because you're just like, but then you realize like, yeah, what the boundaries are, or like whatever it is. But yeah, when you're older, I would imagine, I mean, even just being a few years older from when I made that film or when I made the show or whatever, there's just things that I understand more or something where I'm just like, again, like you said, there's just like, to be naive, I think is like
it's so
exciting
beautiful. Yes.
and awesome. But then, then you just get yourself into trouble in a lot of ways. So
And by the way, naivete and stupidity are 2 totally different things. You can
Definitely.
be incredibly intelligent and also naive. And I think naivete with the right intelligent person and the right artist could mean boundless opportunity and potential. And
yeah, I think that's like, I mean, I identify with that. I feel like in some ways of just being like, also like just like just naturally optimistic
Yes.
of like, oh no, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna
It's
be
gonna
great.
happen.
It's gonna be happy. Yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, no, I mean, I definitely feel that way.
The album's incredible.
Thank you, man.
Please listen to the music. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. Happy birthday. Come on. Stream it below. You good?
Yeah, the last question I have is we talked
Yeah.
about like all these like incredible projects you've worked on, but then the Choose the Ladder video you just did in like Zoom
Yeah,
or
yeah,
photo
yeah,
booth.
yeah.
I'm like, you dumbed it down as simple as you
What?
could.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What was the? Why did I do that? That was literally me leaning so far into the like. Yeah, I made this on tape. I did it like whatever. It's like a little more handmade, and it was more of like a. All right, like. You want to see a handmade video? Here's a fucking handmade video. Like, here's me. I'm on my computer at my Zoom. Like, and like, I wanted it just to be like a funny thing. But it's funny because the other videos that are coming out are like the exact opposite. They're like such high production value, weird, crazy, artsy videos that my friend Marcus did. And so I really wanted to just, do a little bait and switch where I started with that and then kind of do the opposite. But yeah.
Every Town There's a Darling, one of my favorite songs off the album.
Thank you.
Do you really believe that there's someone for everyone?
Yeah, 100%. It's. I feel like it's something that is like it's abstract to think about because I feel that way for other people. But then when I start thinking about myself, I'm like, is there someone for everyone? But then you see that through other people, and
Gives you hope?
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
See, some people get angry and pessimistic about it. They're jealous, envious. As opposed to being like, I will find mine.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. Also, that makes sense. Like, it makes sense that people feel that way. I'm sure at some point in my life I felt that way, but like, it's easier to just be like, I had to be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's peace in that.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Also love you. Very alt-Americana.
Thanks, man.
Really great album, dude.
Thank you.
Listen to it.
So nice.
Happy Birthday is waiting for you. The strings on you, so good.
Oh, thank you, man.
That's Faye Webster, eh?
So yeah, so it's Faye. So Faye Webster, her one of her really close friends, Annie Leith, who does all of her string arrangements, did it. And Faye was the person.
Oh, Faye. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Faye directed you to her.
Yeah.
Got it. Understood.
Faye. Yeah, no worries. Faye has a friend named Annie Leith who does a lot of string arrangements for like so many different musicians and is like a genius. She's
Big
from
deal.
Athens and in Georgia, and I just sent her the song and was kind of like I had some idea of what maybe the arrangement can be, but then I just said like just do your thing.
Did you tell
Go
her to
for
use
it.
an electric guitar? I mean, it's stunning. Like, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, no, she just literally, it was just her. I think it was just that, all of that was just her and like a cello and a violin, I'm pretty sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really stunning. Listen to the album. It's waiting for you. Also, Hell of a Summer. It's the movie.
Have you scored a movie yet?
No.
I feel like that could be next for you.
But you did supply.
There it is.
Sign them up. But you
Here's
did,
another thing. Add it to the docket.
you did supply a couple records for the Jesse Eisenberg film,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
When you finished Saving the World?
Yeah. Yeah, I did a few. I mean, I just kind of helped on some of the songs and added. I wrote like the music to one of the songs in the movie, but I've never like scored a thing. It seems like that was such a cool part about like editing the movie was like collaborating with our composer and like seeing how much it changes a movie. Like, dude, I mean, if you saw a movie with no score, it would be the worst movie ever. Unless it was like written into it and it was like a play. Yeah, sometimes I'd watch scenes without score and I'd be like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my whole life.
But could you tell when it was a bad score or a score that didn't fit?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was never like Jay McCarroll, who was the guy that did our score, who's this amazing performer and composer. Like, he never ever did any like bad cues, but it was always like, yeah, we always knew what was right and wrong for it, or what like specific whatever scene it was. We knew exactly what kind of vibe should go with it, and I think I maybe had a little more hands-on notes than my co-director, but my co-director would have the exact same notes, but he wouldn't know how to explain it just because he doesn't play music as much.
Great team, though.
So it helped. Yeah, no, so I think it helped. But he's an amazing composer and really did an amazing job.
See, like another great example of how you and this co-director, Billy, could like pick up each other's slack, fill in the blanks for each other.
Yeah,
good
it's really
seeing.
nice. Yeah.
Hell of a Summer's the movie. Happy Birthday is the album. And you're aware of Stranger Things because you're alive. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
But really, thank you for creating art and sharing it with the world. Like, of all types, you're really, really special.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
Finn Wolfhard, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.